Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back to have a... No, come on, you've got rusty. Try again. Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back on my birthday, or at least this will go live on my birthday. I'm recording it the day before to have a chat with you about my plans for my 31st? No, that's incorrect. My 41st reading year. That makes it sound like I've been reading since I literally popped out of the womb. That might bring some odd images for those of you who follow both me and my mother on YouTube anyway. I thought I would have a chat with you about sort of what my plans are and what my sort of goals and aims are for my 41st year, because I tend to used to do this in January, like what my plan was for that next year ahead. And I actually quite like the idea of sort of using the tail end of one year, but the beginning of the tail end of one birthday year and the beginning of an actual year as being a bit of a test to see how things go, which maybe means that this is my plan for the next 9 months rather than the next 12. Anyway, basically it's some plans I've got for my reading, my channel and my life. So I hope you'll join me for a cuppa, because it could be a bit of a chat. Watch me now promptly not drink anything out of this throughout the whole video. I'm not going to edit it. I think I said that because I want it to be as if we are just sat having a proper chat. I'm actually really bothered by the fact the corner of that shelving was showing a little bit, so let's just move you there. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to look more comfortable. Before I go any further, I will just say I thought about what my plans for reading, my channel and my life were on the plane back from Mexico, where I have been for over a week and had the most incredible time. And my official 41st birthday photo, which you'll possibly see on the screen now, and that's the only editing that I am going to do, will possibly make people think that I'm still in Mexico, but I'm not. I'm back because it will be Pip's hen do this weekend coming. So I've come back for that, which is very, very exciting. Anyway, I've got on a huge tangent. I made notes on the plane back. However, I also slept on the plane back and it was quite turbulent and bumpy. So if I either just start moving slightly like that, because I feel that I can't even speak there, that's how the room feels, slightly like I'm literally doing that right now, then apologies. And also if I'm a little bit, that's because I've got mild jet lag. I'm looking forward to a very long kip. Anyway, I've been talking for about 2 minutes and I haven't just got cracking. What is going on? So yeah, I've split it into reading, channel and life. And the first thing that I would really, really, really like to do with my 41st year is to sort of rediscover the reader I am, because I feel like the more I've read, the less I know what a me book is, and that's both quite exciting but can also be quite frustrating, because sometimes I'm like, I really just want a book that's just really me and that's really gonna like get me as a reader and hook me in. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to have the most amazing plot or anything like that. I just want a book that I just know I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a Simon book, that is on the savage catnip spectrum and I'm ready for it. And I think I want to discover what that whole savage catnip spectrum is. So if you have any ideas for that, I've got a few actually. So maybe I'll remind you any ideas after I tell you what mine are. So the first one is that I want to mainly read more by whim. However, I would like to have a few little things that I sort of get to that I haven't. So my non-fiction reading has gone to absolute pot. I kind of blame the pandemic. I was getting quite back into non-fiction pre-pandemic, but I think because I became so addicted to the news to just see what was going on in the world, I didn't actually want to read about what was really going on in the world, if you know what I mean, apart from the odd memoir here or there. And that's something that I would really like to change. I also have been reading more in translation, but I'd like to do that even more. And I'm really, really keen to, oh, sorry. The wind in the window just made me do a bit of a thing, gave me the shivery shakes. I definitely want to read more gothic fiction than that. Anyway, but that I'll talk about in a little bit. But as well as all of that, I really want to get to, it's completely gone out of my brain what it was. Non-fiction, oh, short stories, there we go. The opposite of my videos, because they're generally long and tangential. Short, sharp stories. I was gonna give myself the task / mission, impossible, of reading a short story every day. But what I think I'd actually really like to do is read at least 2 or 3 short story collections a month. That's something that I'm going to kind of aim to do. But these are going to be more sort of markers that I've got subconsciously, because if you're reading by whim, you're not gonna, you know, you don't need too many guidelines and stuff. You just want to read by whim. I mean, obviously I have to read for work and stuff, but you know what I mean. So overall, read more by whim, but also make sure that I am heading to more non-fiction, more translated fiction, and more short story collections. That's a really, really, really big thing that I want to do. So that's the first thing. The second thing is head to more favourite authors and their backlists. So, for example, when was the last time I picked up a Daphne du Maurier? It has been forever. I don't actually know. I can't even work out how long it has been. That's how long it has been. So that's something that I'm really, really keen to do. Obviously, it's not just Daphne du Maurier. I've got lots of favourite authors that I'd like to head back to, or back to their backlist if I've read a recent novel. And that also kind of links into my next one, which is to stop saving books for a rainy day. It's something that I get into a dreadful habit of doing. I think with proofs, it tends to be because I know that the people might not be able to read it for quite a long time and I like to have a conversation about what I've read. However, there are some exceptions. So for example, when Kate Atkinson has a new book out, don't leave it for a rainy day, Simon. Just get to it. You know you love her. You know you love reading her. So what's that all about? Because this has been sat on my shelf for blinking ages, and like I think it'll be one of my fave books of whatever year I read it in. So why I didn't read it last year, I do not know. And that's something, I don't know if it's like, I was going to say, is it the magpie in me? Because there's always all this, that, or there's something different ahead. But, I mean, magpies would be very attracted to this because it's very, very shiny and sparkly and wonderful. But yeah, that's something that does irritate me. There are quite a few authors that I really love who had books out last year that I didn't get to. And I'm not beating myself up about it because at the end of the day, I know this may be a shock, what I'm about to say. Please don't unsubscribe or thumb me down. But it's only books at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's not life and death. But I would like to have got to some of my favourite authors. I guess in some cases it's because I think like, oh, am I going to run out of their books? What's that all about? What is that all about? That's what it's all about. It's all about the fact that I do worry that I might run out of some books. Like I was going to head to a Toni Morrison every month, but then I was thinking once they run out, literally there will be no more that I can head to. So I'm going to move a little bit forward again. When The Sun comes out, if I'm sat there, I don't know. Oh no, is it all right? Anyway, moving on. So that's something that I'd really, really like to do. More of my favourite authors as their books come out, but also head to more of their backlist. I think I might give myself the caveat that I can have like one or two that I'm savouring, especially if an author's dead, but also if an author's living. Although that said, you never know how much time you got left. So, you know, that links into the whole stop saving things for a rainy day because, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, the other thing that I really want to do is head back to things that I used to really love, both in terms of genres that were very much me kind of books. Because I was looking back at my reading pre-YouTube channel when I used to have a blog, and I was really into modern classics. I was really into Gothic literature and any literature sort of set in Victorian England or written in the Victorian times by Charles Dickens. I was really, really big on. I mean, Wilkie Collins, absolutely love. I think I've only got a couple of his left. But any like new novel set in the Victorian era I would head to. It's my favourite period of history, I think. The other one is Tudors, in the UK history-wise anyway. And then also Persephone books, and I was trying to think how many publishers were sort of my go-to publishers, and it's tricky. I think I have a good hit rate with Faber and Picador and Fourth Estate, and I have a good hit rate with quite a few, but there are certain publishers that sort of have a whole particular vibe about them, and Persephone is one, and I haven't read one for ages, very much like I've not read a Daphne du Maurier for ages, so I would like to try these again because I've got plenty of them. I've got a whole collection of them, and they're just sat not getting read. I'm not going to say and not getting loved because then that starts to give me mild bookshelf guilt, which I'm not a believer in. I believe you have as many books on your TBR, your bedside table, your shelves, whatever as you like. That's all for everyone's individual preference. So there's that. And then the fifth thing, which I guess goes against everything that I just said, is try new things. So for example, publishers. There are certain publishers that I haven't headed to that I would really, really like to head to more. Fitzcarraldo is one actually. There's also one that I'm going to talk about in a little bit for another little project that I'm feeling like I might want to do later this spring. And yeah, so publishers is definitely one. Try more indie publishers. That's a really, really big one for me. I'm looking at my notes again. Then more genres that I wouldn't usually try. I've been asked if I might like to be a judge for an adventure fiction prize, so books that are very much set with the genre of adventure. And at first I was like, oh, that doesn't sound very me. But then I was thinking, actually, I really, really might love adventure. I used to love Conan Doyle stories. And so, yes, I'm thinking actually maybe that would be something quite fun to do. By the way, I haven't mentioned this t-shirt I got from Sunny's Book Truck, which is run by CJ Rees, and I blinking love it. It arrived while I was away, and yeah, absolutely smitten. So head and check Sunny's Book Truck. I'll try and remember to put a link down below, and I'll link to CJ's channel as well because she's ace. Anyway, sorry. So going back to what else I'd like to do. I'd like to read more recommendations from you lovely lot, and that's something that I'm going to try to remember to do at the end of wrap-ups. Is like, oh, if you think I'll like, if any books you know are like these ones that I loved that month, could you recommend me some? Or just as and when giving me a little recommendation here or there, I think would be lovely. Hang on, is the lighting doing something funny? There we go. Yeah, that's something I'd like to do because I know that the lovely Anna, whose channel I adore as well, she did a video recently that I haven't actually watched yet, but I've seen the thumbnail. So I think this is what it's about. But she did one where she was going through recommendations that people had given her. And I know that she's picked up those books and really enjoys them. So that's something I'd quite like to do. And these may be like theme vlogs that I do at some point. I don't know. But I'm probably going to ask for those on Instagram. So if you're not following me on the good old Insta, do head and have a wander over there. So yes, that was something, and social media I need to come back to later. And then the other thing that I was thinking that might be kind of getting me to try new things is when authors have written books in different genres. So I'm thinking of like Joanne Harris. I really like her fiction. I've not read her crime thrillers and I've not read her fantasy, but maybe they're books that I should go to because I know I like her writing. I was thinking actually I started reading Sylvia Moreno Garcia this year, and I know she writes on lots of different genres. So the first one I read was Gods of Jade and Shadow for my Patreon's book club, and I really enjoyed that, and it dipped my toe into fantasy, which I hadn't read for ages. This is very much sort of noir, and I think she's written about vampires and all sorts. So I'm looking for authors, and if you've got any that write over lots of different genres, do let me know in the comments down below, that I could head to. But also initially, without having to buy any new books, or although I need to use the library more, that's something I need to just do in general. I work in libraries. I don't go to mine very often. Shame on me. I used to work in my local library for blinkers sake. I was the head of commercial. Anyway, oh, I don't know why I'm throwing that down there. Let's put that back there. But yeah, so that's something that I'd like to. I'd like to start with the authors that I have on my shelves and the books that they've written across genres. I think that would be really, really cool. So that's kind of how I feel like I'm going to rediscover the reader that I am, by trying out stuff I used to love, seeing if it's still for me, but also trying new things and then seeing the direction that follows. I'm also obviously going to be totally influenced by other booktubers that I love. Like, that's pretty much a given. Is the lighting funny on here? Is it maybe my phone is a bit dark? Sorry. I have my phone because I'm an absolute grandad. I have it on the lowest possible because otherwise it hurts my eyes. Anyway, so there's that. Now, and any other tips that you have for how I might go about rediscovering the reader that I am would be lovely. I'm not sure how I'm going to report this back. I also realised I started, oh no, well, this comes to channel, actually. This comes to channel. I was going to go on tangent. But yeah, any tips on how you sort of rediscover what your tastes are? Do you ever have a taste check-in, I guess is what I'm calling it? Let me know all of that in the comments down below too, as well as any authors that write across lots of different genres. And yeah, so next up, in terms of the channel, lots of you have been saying that you're noticing that I'm sort of a lot more relaxed on the channel, enjoying it a lot more, and I really, really am. I think that's not because I was ever not enjoying the channel. I think last year, my 40th year was a lovely year, but it was definitely too busy a year, and we'll talk about this more a bit when I come to the life section at the end. I mean, you might all have switched off by then, who knows? But I'm going to test you, actually. There will be a test at the end to see if you get to the end. But what was I going to say? yeah, no, it's gone. So let's just move on to channel and what my plans are for the channel. The room's doing that again slightly at the moment. So there we go. I would like to, number one, oh, that was what I was saying. I've not ever been like tidying the channel or anything, but I think now that I'm doing less videos, I'm really, really enjoying it more. But I want to sort of film by whim, but at the same time, I know the algorithm punishes you if you don't do videos regularly on specific days. And whilst views and all that kind of stuff doesn't matter, it does a little bit, if I'm being really honest. And yeah, so that's something that I'm thinking about, but that'll also come up a bit. But what I really like to do is, number one, is vlog my 41st year better, because I didn't do as good a job. Every year I say at the beginning of January, oh, I'm going to do a vlog every Sunday, and or every week, and then I decided it was going to be Sundays, but that's something that I'm debating, which we'll come to in a little bit. See, lots of tangents going on. I think what I would like to do this year, though, is really vlog the year. And it's partly selfish because it'll just be nice for something for me to go back and look on, especially as I've got some quite big stuff happening this summer. So that's a selfish side, but also just because, like, I really love watching other people's vlogs that includes what's going on in their life and what they're up to. And that is just something I like watching. So therefore, I want to kind of create stuff I like to watch and hope that you'll like watching it too. That said, I do want to mix it up a bit. I was going back and looking at the videos pretty much since I started YouTube way back. I think, is it 7 years this May? I'm not sure. It's either 6 or 7 years. It can't be 8, I don't think. But it's been a while, basically. And I'm very much aware I am a sit and record in front of bookshelves and hold some books up kind of channel. And whilst I like that, and I know lots of you enjoy that because you tell me, I'm not being arrogant, I promise, I also just want to mix it up a bit, and I've really enjoyed doing some sort of travel vlogs. I haven't done one in Mexico because I actually properly had a holiday and barely picked up a camera other than to record lots of wildlife and wonderful things that I saw and food that I ate and that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure what video that's going to end up in, whether it'll maybe just be a random little postcards from Mexico video or what, or something. I can't quite work it out. But yeah, that I would definitely like to do a lot more. But also I just want to, on the one hand, like this video, I'm saying I'm not editing it or not planning on editing it because I want it to be like a chat, and that's what I really want from this channel. And whenever I get comments saying that people feel like I'm just sat opposite them having a chat, that to me is like the highest compliment, because that is totally what I want this channel to be. But at the same time, I do look at other channels and I'm like, God, I wish, like I've seen, I absolutely love How to Train Your Gavin, and he will spend hours, days editing videos. I'll spend a couple of hours on some, but like nothing like that. And actually I do really enjoy the editing side of things. So yeah, I just feel like I want to keep doing the regulars, but also at the same time I don't want everything to be too regular. So that's why I used to do 2 book hauls and 2 wrap-ups a month, and now I'm just doing 1 of each. But because I'm doing less videos, I'm like, oh, is it too much of the same thing happening? Is it becoming a bit formulaic? Let me know in the comments down below about that as well. I'd really love to know if you enjoy the regularity, and if you'd like a mix-up, what sort of things you would like to see. That would really, really, really interest me. And I genuinely mean that, so please do let me know those in the comments down below. Don't be polite. I wouldn't be. I'd be commenting away. So anyway, although I do need to get better at commenting on other people's videos, that's something that I do need to do. But I'm definitely, I think, pretty good at commenting on here, which I had a real phase of being dreadful at, but I think I've got past that now. So that was that. Then the other thing I'm thinking about is whether I change the days that my videos go up. I used to be Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and now I've gone to Wednesday, Sunday. But Sundays, I'm noticing in my timeline personally, I'm getting a lot of videos. Now, you can watch them later. You don't have to watch them the day that a video is live. However, yeah, I'm just wondering if is that too much traffic? Let me know, because I think I am going to stick to 2 videos a week. occasionally maybe there'll be like a second one that will pop up. Like at the moment I've seen the lovely Renee, another channel that I'll remember to link below, has done an Aries season video, and I meant to watch that while I was away, but I didn't. I'm going to save that to my birthday because it's Aries season. I'm an Aries, why not? And that'll be a nice little treat to catch up with Renee at some point on my birthday, which will be today as this goes live. Happy birthday to me. Anyway, so that might be one that suddenly like pops up separately, because I think she's recommended books for different parts of an Aries personality type, and I quite fancy having a go at that. So there's that. But yeah, I'm debating what day's video goes up. I don't know if I just carry on Wednesday, Sunday, or do I mix it up, or what. Then in May, I'm thinking about doing a bit of a project and getting my head into more of the McNally editions and doing McNally May. This is Rent Boy, which I've meant to read ever since it arrived, and then I've started to save for a rainy day because that's me. And then also we have Daddy's Gone A-Hunting, which funnily enough is also the Persephone book I picked up. This I think is one of my favourite covers of the year. I think it's stunning, and I love what McNally Jackson do, and they're one of the publishers that I want to kind of investigate more, because they're kind of doing what Persephone do in terms of republishing sort of classics that have sort of gone under the radar and probably should be read more, modern classics I mean. So yeah, I was thinking of doing McNally May, where, you know, there's not going to be many rules. You can kind of pick and choose what you read. I mean, have you met me? I'm not very structured. I don't really like too much. Well, I like planning, but I don't like too many structures, and I don't really like deadlines around reading, which is ironic when I'm one, judging a book prize at the moment, and also saying yes to another one potentially. But yeah, I thought something quite loose and chill, McNally May, might be quite fun to have some modern classics that have been sort of more forgotten, but also support a independent publisher who have just been nothing but delightful when I've interacted with them. And I think that's something that I really, really also want to do, is like really, where I can, sort of shout about more publishers, people, all the P's. I was going to think of another one, but I can't, that are just lovely. And well, like prizes, so the women's prize are bloody lovely, and that's one of the reasons that I enjoy working with them so much, but also telling you about it. It's one of the reasons that I love the prize so much, is how joyous it is. And obviously I'm reading that long list at the moment with Mum. But yeah, so I was thinking they've been super lovely at McNally Editions, and I'd love to do a McNally May. And also that's why, like, I'll shout about, for example, CJ's products, because she's bloody lovely. So there we go. Now, speaking of reading the Women's Prize with Mum, that comes to the fifth thing that I would like to do. Is that right? Vlog my 41st year better, mix it up a bit. I did look back, and it was like just a lot of me sat here, or where the position I used to have over there, where there was a desk, or I haven't changed it up very much, just a few little cosmetic changes here or there. So I was looking back at that, shocking. Anyway, let's not focus on that, because that'll take me possibly to a dark place, and I don't want to go there. So yeah, vlog my 41st year better, mix it up a bit, change today's videos go up potentially, and McNally May, the fifth one, and that, like I said, goes back to reading the Women's Prize Longest with my mum. I'd like to do more collabs, and I'd like to do possibly another project with Mum. So we're thinking of reading the Booker Prize shortlist again this year together, but also we have talked about, which was kind of inspired by Costanza Casati and Clytemnestra that I read recently and loved, and we'll tell you all about in my next wrap up, because they're back. I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, doing the monthly, which I'm very much enjoying, because the last 2 years they went away. Anyway, I was talking to Costanza, and I think it'd be really good fun for me and Mum to do videos with authors who've done classical myth retellings, because my mum is a classicist. I was brought up on classical myths and legends, and actually fairy tales and myths, that's another genre I used to love, along with Victorian setting books that I'd like to head back to. I haven't read that much sort of mythical, apart from classical myths, and recently reading Mexican Mayan myths. Yeah, I had one of those moments where it got really, really bumpy, and it's not even doing it. It's very weird. Does anyone else get that after they come off planes? My mum told me she did, so maybe it's a genetic thing. Anyway, or maybe I'm just getting older. Sorry, Mum, I didn't mean that in that way. So yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking about doing, classically savage or something like that, where because I was brought up on this and then took a real step back, because get your violins out, here's a sob story. I went to secondary school, started studying classics. My mum was one of the teachers. I wasn't in her class, but I was in another one, another class, and I got 99% in my exams, and everyone took the absolute piss out of me, and so I left classics and stopped studying it. So there we go. Unlike my little sister, who's been an absolute suck up and done a degree in it. So Miriam, I love you. And I know she watches. She says when she misses me, she watches, which is kind of cute. But yeah, so I thought that'd be quite interesting, because I'm sort of slowly but surely getting back into them and having the author on and me and mum just chatting to them, because we've done a few of those before and I think that would be quite fun. Also, I was thinking though, there are some booktubers that I would love to collaborate with, and just authors and people in general. So I've got a few in the can of authors wrecking books? No. Authors recommending me 3 books that I'm then going to go off and read. So those I'll be doing at some point. But also, I quite like the idea. I used to do it a while back. I did a few, like I did one with Lena Norms. I did one with, who else have I done them with? Anyway, almost like a catch up with another booktuber or creator, just about this, that and the other. And I thought that might be quite nice to do occasionally, like a savage salon or something, where I invite someone to join me for an hour, possibly live, so that you can chat and ask questions and stuff, and do more lives. Yeah, that's something I'd quite like to do. I'd love to do one with like A. Marie. Who else would I really like to do? Oh, there's so many people that I'd like to do them with. There's so many creators that I love, like CJ, like, oh, I could go on. Oh no, I could go on. I'm thinking Sophie, Nathan. Oh, there's so many. So yeah, that's Renee. See, now I'm worried. This is why I don't do tag videos and tag people, because I'm always worried I'll miss someone out and they'll be really, really upset, and then that'll be the end of everything. But yeah, that's something that I'd quite like to do. So maybe, I don't know, on a time that works for both time zones if people are abroad, that could be something that comes up in the future. So those are my 5 things for the channel. Anything else you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. And then quickly, because we're almost on 30 minutes, live stuff. So I'm planning on traveling more. I said I was going to travel to a different city every month in 2023, then promptly got sinusitis, which I still have a tiny bit of almost 3 months later. Let's not go into it though, because it's really boring. But that completely changed things. So what I'm planning on doing in my 41st year is possibly doing like a different city every couple of months. And it doesn't have to be abroad. I would like to celebrate Europe and go to more of Europe, because I love it, and I'm pissed that with everything that happened with Brexit. So it would be kind of like a finger up to that in my own very small way. But yeah, I also want to discover more of the UK. I did possibly too much discovering of the UK last year with all the travel I did, but I didn't really film it. But I don't like to have regrets. When my granddad died far too young, one of the things that he said was that he didn't have any regrets apart from reading bad books, which is why I've also got to remember to DNF more. Because if you're not enjoying a book at 60 pages, you're not going to enjoy it. But you know, despite the best ending in the world, possibly. Anyway, so travel more is something I want to do. I really want to do, in career-wise, it's about more events. I'm hopefully going to be doing some more festivals. Fingers crossed, I've got some more TV stuff coming up, including, I think I'm going to be on a talk show in America next week for something that's a surprise, so I can't say any more than that now. But if you follow my Instagram, like I mentioned earlier, I'll probably share more about that, and I will talk to you about some plans I've got for social media actually. But yeah, try new things. I want to just experience more stuff that I haven't experienced before. I don't want to be too rigid with that. I want to be a bit loose and free with that, because I think that's the best way, but that's something that I'll hopefully document as I vlog my 41st year in a mildly selfish but also hopefully enjoyable for you way. I want to say yes more and say no more. And I think it's just about getting the yeses to the right things and the no's to the right/wrong things. I am a bit of a, I do have a switch in my brain that instantly makes me want to say no to anything that's new, and I want to switch that up, hence try new things. But also, I don't want to say no to like things that I've done before and enjoyed, but I think I've got to remind myself that there's only so much time that I have, and there's only so much stuff I can do, and so that's a really, really important one. But also, like, yeah, in order to try new things, you've got to say yes a lot. So that's the plan. And then, as I mentioned just then, I've only got so much time, I've only got so much I can do, so I just want more balance in my life and more boundaries. And actually, like with less video content, I've been on Instagram a bit less. I was planning on doing a post a day and that just hasn't happened. But actually, I'm certainly doing stories, but sometimes less of me can be more for everyone, frankly. Less is more in so many ways. That said, quickly, I am hoping to sort of share on my stories what I've read as I read it, but I'm definitely going to be doing that on Twitter, and I'm going to start that from my birthday and whatever is the first book that I read after that, where I post about every single thing I read on Twitter, and on Instagram it'll be a story, because I've noticed that my book posts on Instagram just don't do anything unless it's like a monthly wrap up or whatever. So yeah, so that's what my plan is with that. And there'll just be sort of more, I'm hoping with some of the projects that I've got coming up, I can do some more behind the scenes stuff, just generally capturing things that bring me joy and sharing those on socials, well, on Instagram too, and then Twitter, yeah, very much being about like what I've read and keeping more of a diary of that on there. With succinct reviews. I'm not very good at succinct because this has already been way longer than I intended, but I think that's it. If you have got to the end of this, I did say there was going to be a test. I would love you to leave me an emoji in the comments below. An emoji that makes you think of me. No, that's really vain, and I didn't mean that at all. Leave me like a book emoji, a birthday cake emoji, a dolphin emoji, because that's going to be my official 41st birthday picture, even though that isn't what I'll be doing on my birthday tomorrow/today as this goes live. I would love that. Also, like I said, any tips that you've got for rediscovering the reader that you are, any authors that go across different genres, anything you'd like to see on this channel, any people you'd like me to collaborate with if I can, all that kind of stuff. I would love to have a chat with you in the comments below. I might be a bit quiet on the day, but yeah, I'll be around certainly. It's Pip 10 this weekend. I am so excited. Anyway, so that is that. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, that'd be lovely. If you're new, please leave a comment below and say hello so that we can get better acquainted. Or if you haven't commented for a while, do that. That'd be really lovely too, as well as those aforementioned emojis. And my Patreon, my birthday wish list, my Instagram, and other links are all down below, my Twitter and everything. So there are other places to catch up with me if you would like to too. But until the next video, it's been lovely chatting with you. I hope you're all doing super duper well, and I will carry on chatting with you in the comments before the next video, which hopefully will be soon. I'll see you then. Bye.